Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks. When President Muhammadu Buhari won the presidential election in 2015, one of the greatest tasks before him was to unite the Muslim North and the Christian South. To all intents and purposes, this dream has economic leanings. Now, what will help this administration realize this dream? Will it be restructuring or is it resource control? And again, what's the role of social-cultural groups in contributing to the actualization of this big dream? I put these questions through to an elder statesman today whom I'll be taking on Fireworks as I invite you to come along. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today I have with me a northern elder statesman who's been in active politics for more than 6 decades in the person of elder statesman, nationalist, Elder Tanko Yakasai. You're welcome to Fireworks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, in Kano, we don't shake hands.
We shake. Yes, we shake.
You're welcome to Fireworks. Now, one of the questions that is being asked when political watchers look at the political scene in the North is, why do we have the Arewa Consultative Forum and we also have the Northern Elders Council?
Well, if you don't mind, I will make 2 corrections. First, if I hear from a British or American or Russian calling the North Muslim North, the South Christian South, I don't mind. But for a Nigerian, more than half of Yorubas are Muslims. And it would be wrong to call them Christians. More than 1/3 of people from Middle Belt in the North are Christians, or are Muslim, I would like to say. So we have a mixture of, so it's a misrepresentation, actually. Secondly, I'm not a nationalist, I'm a patriot. It is downgrading to call a patriot nationalist. Go ahead.
But both are semantics. There's an expression of truth in a nationalist being a patriot and a patriot being a nationalist. And then again, you have a huge portion of Muslims in the North and a huge portion of Christians in the South. So it's a matter of semantics. Am I correct?
You don't want correction, you are welcome.
Okay, let's make progress. You haven't answered the question. The Arewa Consultative Forum and the Northern Elders Council.
Yes. I'm a founding member of the Arewa Consultative Forum and also a founding member and chairman of Northern Elders Council. Arewa Consultative Forum was formed in order to bring all Northerners together, regardless of their political differences, religious, ethnic, and whatever. Arewa, or Northern Elders Council, is a more political organization. What brought about the formation of Northern Elders Council was the formation of Northern Elders Forum. Both members of the Northern Elders Forum and Northern Elders Council are members of Arewa Consultative Forum. What made members of Arewa Northern Elders Forum to form their organization was because ACF declared itself non-political. So people who wanted to pursue political objectives have some restrictions in ACF. This is the reason why some people felt that they should have a different organization. And they formed Arewa Consultative Forum. Now, when they started with making statements that we felt did not represent the majority views of Northerners. For instance, leaders in that group said if Jonathan is elected president, they will make Nigeria ungovernable for him. Another person said, if Jonathan is elected, there will be war in Nigeria. Another person said, if Jonathan is elected as president of Nigeria, there will be bloodshed. We felt that it was not a true reflection of the views of the people of the North. So we felt that it is necessary for us to form another organization so as to present a different views from the position of the leaders of Northern Elders Forum.
These were the sentiments of some within the Arewa Consultative Forum.
Well, we are all, like I told you, all members of Arewa Consultative Forum.
You're quoting some of them now. Some of them said the country will be ungovernable.
No. Northern Elders Forum.
Okay.
Not Arewa Consultative Forum.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
So we felt that we have a duty to present our position to Nigeria and international community at large, because at the same time, the people who are saying that if Jonathan was elected president, there will be war, there will be bloodshed, and the same people were promoting a northerner to be president. Then what will happen if a northerner is elected as president? Will southerners make Nigeria ungovernable for him? Will there be a bloodshed? So we feel that it is better, it's very important for us to show a distinction and also to tell the world that we do not share those sentiments.
So because of those restrictions at the time when the Northern Elders Council was formed, you endorsed former President Goodluck Jonathan for the 2015 election? There
are a lot of reasons. Let me tell you.
Okay.
When PDP was formed, they invited Obasanjo to be their candidate. And Obasanjo ran as president twice for 8 years. A lot of us happened to be members of NPN, which introduced the idea of rotation and zoning. And also, a number of us took part in 1994-95 Constitutional Conference, where also the principle of zoning and rotation was entrenched into the draft constitution of the country. So we felt that we should support the candidature of Jonathan so that he will be able to have 2 terms in the same way as President Obasanjo got. President Obasanjo came from the Southwest. If Jonathan is able to run successfully for 2 terms in the PDP, then the question of zoning and rotation is entrenched in that party. And therefore that will give the people from the Southeast an opportunity to run the presidency or for presidency for 2 consecutive terms. And that will also give other Nigerians
But sir, it tickles the imagination, because prior to that time in 2010, there were reports that you led politicians who went to court to prevent Vice President Goodluck Jonathan from taking on the presidency as a result of his boss's illness. So how do you now explain the turn of events?
I think you got it wrong. I went to court. The matter is still in court. The judge, for his own reason, refused to rule on the matter. I went to challenge the, what do they call it, principle, the doctrine.
Of necessity.
Of necessity. My lawyer told me that it's not part of our constitution, it's not part of Nigerian law. Till today, I need somebody to tell me that it's part of our constitution and part of our statute book. So that is the reason why. I opposed Jonathan before, when he wanted to run after Eradua. I felt that a northerner should be given the chance so that we will have 2 terms. Eradua and Jonathan did 1, and whoever comes will do 1. So that will further strengthen the question of rotation. Because we believe that The problem in Nigeria is that of accession to power. This is, people talk about ethnicity and religion.
So you oppose him and then you support him for the...
I opposed him
in 2010
in order not to scuttle the rotation of northern Nigeria running for 2 terms.
So what was different in 2015?
In 2015?
When you supported him? Because there were allegations that the Northern Elders Council was induced so they could break the ranks of the northern leaders.
Well, nobody, no individual can break the ranks of northern leaders. No individual.
But it was apparently broken.
Maybe you don't know. Let me, please.
ACF to the Northern Elders Forum to the Northern Elders Council.
Please allow me to help you and help Nigerians.
Okay.
During the First Republic, generally people believed that the North was MPC. That was wrong. There was NEPU, a political party which contested and won election. There was UMBC, there was Bornese Movement, there was Ilorin Telekaparabo, there was Igbira Tribal Union, there was Habe Tribal. All those were political parties that contested election. There is no possibility that a North with half of the population of Nigeria will speak with one voice politically. It's not possible. So I don't need money from Jonathan or anybody else to support. This is a blackmail to prevent people from expressing their opinion. And this is the reason why I decided not to belong to any political party, so that I'll be free to say my views. I fought for independence. I fought for freedom. Then I will not tolerate anybody to come and deny me the freedom I fought for others, the right to own my opinion, and which is entrenched in the Constitution. Mark you, I was one of those who first and foremost, way back to 1953, fought for the entrenchment of fundamental human rights in our Constitution. And I thank God that we have got it in our Constitution. For anybody now to come and blackmail me and deny me the right to express my opinion because he wanted to support somebody else, if he is entitled to support somebody else, why shouldn't I be entitled to support another person? Why must I be cajoled to support somebody that I don't like to support?
But I'd like to also remind you that there was disaffection in the land at the time of the election in 2015. You'll have time to respond to that. Also, my guest has challenged my poser on the Muslim North and Christian South, quote and unquote. That will be our next port of call when we return from this break. You're watching Fireworks. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today I have with me elder statesman and patriot in the person of Alhaji Tanko Yakasai. Thank you for your time and contributions on Fireworks.
Yeah, okay.
Now, you were trailing the challenges bedeviling the Buhari administration, and I was reminding you just before the break that there was equal disaffection in the land at the time of the election. So perhaps if the candidate you supported at the time had won, do you think things would have been any different?
Well, I think so, because first and foremost, we wouldn't have the Niger Delta trouble that we ran into, because it was after the emergence of this government that we have a fresh problem in Niger Delta, where the militants started to destroy pipeline, the so-called pipeline vandalism, and also sabotage the supply of gas to electricity plants, and so on and so forth.
So does that suggest, Alhaji, that ethnic sentiments contribute to stability in politics, in governance, rather?
No. What happened was that, if you remember, during Yaradua, there was also insurgency in the Niger Delta. Yaradua was advised to enter into negotiation with the insurgents, which he did. And eventually an agreement was signed, and he was paying them certain amount of money for maintenance and so on. And when this government came, they stopped all of a sudden.
But if that amnesty program at the time had been successful, would the militants have so quickly regrouped again under this administration?
They were not killed.
Doesn't that suggest that there wasn't any rehabilitation that rarely took place at that time?
In any case, you know that it was...
So there's a danger in negotiating with militants. That's the lesson,
isn't there? But I disagree with you, because I don't know if you remember, Northern Ireland is now enjoying peace. This is a result of negotiation between IRS, is it called IRS, the militant in Northern Ireland, and the British government, and eventually they agreed and they signed an accord, and they are now in peace. So a situation will arise where you will have to negotiate with militants. A situation will arise where you will refuse to negotiate with them.
Now, back to the poser, would I call it sectionalism now, or the mixing of religion and politics, and what we see happening with killings, particularly in southern Kaduna, and when we look back at how it started from the Midwest in Benue and now trailing to the Northwest. What are your thoughts on what's happening at the moment? Is it banditry, as some would say, or is it some, using religion to take advantage of the situation?
I don't like things to be mixed up. You see, the trouble in Benue is between farmers and cattle herders. It started actually from Nasarawa, then later it gravitated to Benue, and then to the south. Now, but this trouble between herders and farmers has been going on for a very long time.
Do you agree that under this administration there has been an upsurge in the farmer cattle herdsmen?
I think it started before
farmer
this
herdsmen clash.
Now, if you remember, the one in
it started, but there's been an upsurge.
It started. Well, it was something. It started.
So what's different? What's different about the upsurge now and calmer times under different administrations?
If you ignite a fire, it will start, but it will continue to spread. You have no control unless you take measures to control it.
So who has ignited the fire?
No, the disagreement between the farmers and herders. It started from Benue, from Nasarawa, then it gravitated to Benue. You remember, Agatu and so on.
Now let's relate, if you're abreast of events, let's relate these series of events now with the fear of domination of the South, held by the South now, of the North. When you read about these things, when you hear them, how does it make you feel?
Well, as a Northerner...
Does the fear reside in the imagination of the Southerners, or is it real? Is Northern imperialism continuing in this country?
What do you mean by Northern imperialism?
Well, the South...
You know the word imperialism. I'm a student of Marxism-Leninism. If you want, you can go and read. Imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. The British came to Nigeria to sell their goods cheap, to take away our raw material. Northerners are not taking raw material from anywhere for themselves. They are not selling their things at high rate to anybody in Nigeria. In fact, one Chibenohoro moved his motion for independence in 1956. Why Sardauna asked for time was to see how the North can manage its situation so that eventually there will be an understanding. Why? Because there was a fear that at the time when Inahoro moved his motion for independence, there were about no less than 2,000 graduates in the South. There are about 3 or 4 graduates in the North. The fear is that the Southerners are Nigerians. If eventually they will take control of the entire country, Northerners cannot drive them away. So what Sardauna, I didn't belong to Sardauna's party, he has never been my leader, but I supported his position that the North should be given opportunity so that there will be peace between the North and the South forever. So he wanted to get an opportunity to prepare the North so that they can go side by side with their Southern compatriots.
So even at that time, there was fear of political domination
and
of one group, held by one group from the other.
I can tell you, it started from the South, from the West. NCNC was the dominant party in the South.
It was also the fear of domination.
I'm coming.
Hold on,
can you allow me to learn?
It was the fear of domination of
as
one
a Democrat,
group held by another that led to the 1967 to 70 civil war.
As a Democrat, I believe in tolerance. As a journalist, you should also believe in tolerance. Tolerate me. I'm saying that the fear of domination started from the South. The NCNC was the dominant party in the South. By 1951, after the general election, the NCNC won majority seats in the West. But because of the fear of domination, the Westerners, both members of the NCNC and Action Group, teamed up to deprive Zik of the opportunity to lead the government in Western Nigeria. Eventually, Zik has to be driven to the east to contest election. He contested election and got elected. So that fear of domination did not start with the North. It started with the South.
The South. So
and then it gravitated to the North.
So there was also the fear of domination of one group held by another that led to the 1967 to 70 civil war.
67?
To 70 civil war.
No. You see, you remember that there was a coup in 1966 where the leaders of the coup, or perpetrators of the coup, were from one ethnic group. And they killed leaders in the political circle and military from 2 other areas. And that fear was ignited. And, but the fear was not compounded until the unification decree, when Iransi abolished federation and decided to appoint or to transfer, as he said in Ibadan, traditional rulers from one place to another. And the Yoruba felt that one day they will wake up, the Obi of Onitsha will replace the Alafi of Oyo, and the Kano people started to fear that one Obi from anywhere from the east will replace the Emir of Kano, the same with the Shehu of Borno and so on. So that fear was brought about by the unification decree, and it was a reality. But when Gawan took over and he restored the federal arrangement, there was peace. There was only trouble because out of personal disagreement between Ojukwu and Gawan. Ojukwu felt that Gawan should not be the head of state, but Gawan became head of state not by Northerners, but by the prompting of Brigadier Ogundupe, who was the most senior military officer remaining at that time. After the assassination of Malari and the rest of them, Brigadier Ogundupe got refused in British High Commission. And Danjuma, I think, I was told, suggested that he should be the head of state because being the next highest ranking officer, he was approached. The British authority provided facilities for the people to see him, and they conveyed the message that he should come and lead the government.
All right.
Brigadier Ogundupe said no. The basis of disagreement was the question of the killing of northern leaders, and therefore the military had been occupied by a majority of Northerners. A Northerner who will earn their confidence should be made. And he suggested the one who was chief of staff at that time to General Iransi, being the most senior military officer in the Nigerian army, to be the head of state. And that is how Gowon became the head of state.
All right. Now, the fear of domination, as agreed from your discourse now, is as old as Nigeria's history itself. So how does this administration achieve the task of uniting the different geopolitical zones?
I wish them the best of luck. But I remember...
Well, you don't have any counsel for them.
I'm coming. I remember that Modakeke Yorubas fought Ife Yorubas, who happened to belong to the same religion, the same ethnic groups, for fear of domination. So it's not a new thing. But if anybody is trying, if anybody is trying to solve this problem, I wish him the best of luck. But I'm a Nigerian.
Do you have any counsel? Opposition is also about constructive criticism.
Indeed.
I know you're in the opposition. But
Yes.
do you have any counsel as a true patriot?
I'm not a member of any party, I told you right from the beginning.
That's why I said as a true patriot.
So nobody started by saying I'm in the opposition. If I don't agree with Buhari, then I'm a member of opposition. So you take me as his opposition.
So you're not in the opposition?
I'm not in the opposition.
Okay, as a true patriot, what counsel do you have to unite Nigeria?
Well, we are
for
trying...
the administration to unite Nigeria?
What the present administration should do is to set in motion machinery whereby, see, we have a national conference. Far-reaching recommendations were made. I will suggest that they should look into those recommendations and implement a lot of them that will bring sanity, peace of mind in the whole country. And also, most of the recommendations of 1994-95 Constitutional Conference also provided solutions to the problems of conflict in Nigeria. And that constitution should also be looked upon so that the present administration can pick what they can pick to enhance the unity and peace in the country. And I'm sure they will succeed.
Thank you very much,
welcome.
Tanko Yakasai, for your time
welcome.
and contributions on fireworks. That's how it's been on fireworks. Alhaji is taking us down a historical trail, which has helped us understand better current events and, of course, giving counsel for the current administration. Join us again same time next week when we bring you another edition which will help raise the bar on national conversation. On behalf of the entire crew, I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. Bye for now.